Hi, everybody. Welcome to Mural Backstage Pass. I am Haley Temple. I am one of your co-hosts for today's session. And if you are new to Backstage Pass, welcome, because it's an awesome time to be here. Backstage Pass is really a space for you to both learn different tips and tricks for ways to use Mural and learn more about visual and online collaboration and facilitation. So this is a fairly unscripted session. We have brainstormed a couple activities we want to do, but this is really a way for you to get an inside look at how teams and how people work together online. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat. And throughout the session, I'm going to ask our team to help us monitor those questions. It could be about Mural, it could be about what we're doing, and we'll be happy to answer them. So I'm excited to introduce my co-host for today's session, Lisa Rothstein. And Lisa is a fantastic brand strategist and storyteller. She is also a New Yorker cartoonist. So here's one of her amazing cartoons that she drew under here. And Lisa and I connected because, of course, she has been facilitating sessions in person and using visuals to create meaningful sessions with her customers and clients, and now shifting to online. There's a lot to be said about the art, and not so much art, but just the capability and the power that comes with working online and working visually in that way. So last week, we talked a lot about using icons and images to create meaning. And today we are going to focus a lot on sketching. So by the end of this session, we want to make sure you have some simple methods and tips for working visually and understanding the power of working visually. And we challenge you to actually practice alongside in Mural or at your desk with whatever writing utensils you have on hand to practice these skills too. So Lisa, how are you today?
I'm doing great. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're so happy to have you. And we have Emily here as well from our team at Mural. And we actually want to bring a couple of other people on to collaborate and participate in this session live. So if you are interested in practicing sketching with us during the session and you want to practice using Mural, type in all caps yes in the chat. And throughout the session, I'm going to actually promote a couple of you guys up in a few minutes to be panelists. So you'll be prepared to be on camera and have your audio on. And yeah, we'll go from there. So Lisa, I'm going to pass it over to you. Tell us a little bit about what we are focusing on today and what we're going to be doing today.
Okay, so I'm actually going to share my screen. Is that okay?
Yes, let me stop sharing and I'll let you take the lead from there.
All right, let me see. I'm going to share my screen. I've got my iPad connected here right now. So you should see just a completely blank space. That's fantastic. So I want to, here are my outcomes for today. You're going to see all my behind the scenes stuff because I'm connected wired to this to the Zoom. But if you connect wirelessly, you can not show all the backroom stuff. But I figured it might be worthwhile to see it. So I want to talk to us today about, before we get into the Mural, why sketch? Why bother? Because Mural has so many fantastic imaging tools, like we just talked about. We have all this wonderful photo library and icons and everything. And I'm not denigrating any of those at all. There's certainly something special about sketching that I want to talk to you about today, and why you might want to incorporate this skill or this tool or modality into using Mural. So that's my first outcome. My second outcome is I want to prove to you that yes, you can draw, because most people just will not do this because they think they can't do it. It's kind of important to be able to do it a little bit, even if you don't feel like you can, because if you do things like design sprints and other stuff, there are occasions where you're going to be asked to sketch your ideas, and the more comfortable you are with doing that, and it's not artwork, it's communication, it's a language, the more comfortable you are with being able to express yourself in a language that other people can quickly see and understand, just like any language, you'll be able to communicate that much faster and better, and you'll be able to get to your ideas faster without worrying about like, oh, I don't know, does this look okay? I'm not sure. And then my last outcome is Haley and I are going to show you different ways to sketch in Mural or use sketches inside of Mural, because we've discovered there are all kinds of challenges and things that we as visual people and people who like to draw have been trying to overcome or work around and stuff to be able to bring more of what we do into Mural. And to also allow our participants to do it. And Haley and I have worked on this a little bit. I know she's worked with a lot of other folks. Like if you haven't seen last week's Backstage Pass with Nevada Lane, you should check it out. It was very, very helpful. So these are the three things I want to talk to you about today. So quickly, before we go to the mural, I'm just going to do a quick little spiel about the power of using sketches and why bother going through all of this. I do talk a little fast. I'm from New York City, and I've had 2 cups of coffee so far this morning. So, you can always watch the replay if you missed something. Plus, the sketch that I'm going to be making for you right here in front of you will be in the mural that we're about to share. So the first thing that makes sketching different, not better, just different than other kinds of visual thinking, is that it's the realm of ideas. And that's because this is not an actual light bulb. It's not even a picture of a light bulb. It's a picture of the concept of a light bulb. It means ideas. So when you're using a sketch, rather than having if I had a photograph of a light bulb here, it wouldn't be the same, because it isn't, it would be a physical object it is what it is. It looks like that. This way, people have a chance to kind of discuss the outside concepts of things. And there's just something really freeing about being in the language of ideas, in the realm of ideas, when you're still in that ideation stage, when you're doing a design sprint, when you're doing visioning and mission and things like that, where you're talking about concepts. Sometimes it's better to use something that isn't so finished as a photograph or even an icon, so that it gives people space to imagine and think of what else could this mean? How do I fit into this picture? How does my thinking work inside of this thing? The other thing that's really interesting about drawings, is kind of counterintuitive today, is that they are disruptive in a way that, just because we're used to seeing so many, perfect images these days, where everybody has, access to all these wonderful graphical tools, that somehow a napkin sketch gets people's attention. I'm not sure if you noticed this, but I mean, when someone gets up on a whiteboard and starts to doodle, or even those sketch videos, those explainer videos where you see like a hand drawing, it's not even a real hand most of the time. It's a software that does it. It's just mesmerizing. People can't take their eyes off of it. Watching something come to life is just a really it's a really good way to keep and hold people's attention. I've been doing a lot of this kind of drawing, what you're seeing right now, as a kind of fly on the wall at other people's Zoom meetings, especially since the pandemic hit and so many more people are on Zoom. And I'm off in my corner doing my thing, and people watching the meeting come to life as drawings it really helps keep people in the room, off of their other tabs, off of their phone, engaged, and they also see their ideas being brought into the picture, and that's been very helpful. The other thing
Lisa, I was curious too. I had a question from Daniela. So these icons and stuff, how do you see them translate? If you're working with people in different cultures and different languages, how do they resonate, or like how does it translate, if it does or not, or what are some challenges?
In many cases it does. I mean, there's some of these things that do go across cultures, and that's one of the advantages of doodles, is that there are some metaphors that do go cross culturally. I think that if you know you're working with people from many different cultures, you might want to check ahead of time when you start to make pictures about whether or not a light bulb means ideas in other countries or something like that. But there are many icons, like say, like if I do this, even though most people use a digital time now, pretty much everybody understands that that's a symbol for time. Or could be, or you could say it's a symbol for punctuality, or we're going to talk about that a little bit later. So there are universal kinds of elements. In a way, when you have everybody participating, that's actually kind of an interesting exercise to see, well, where we come from, the way we talk about that would look like this. And it's kind of an interesting way of connecting with people. If you're working within Western culture, for example, in most, Western European countries, everything I'm going to be drawing is going to be, pretty universally understood. And we're going to be talking later in this session about how the pictures don't have to stand by themselves, and they will not stand by themselves. So you're going to be able to help people understand what you're drawing and why you're drawing it by adding language to it. But in the meantime, somebody who doesn't necessarily speak your language as a first language can look at something and often be able to pick up what you mean just by the pictures, which is one of the advantages of doing it this way. The reason I drew this guy down here with this big, huge brain is that, some studies say, and I don't quote me because I don't know where this number came from, but that 66% of your brain is devoted to visual information. You also end up with, getting oxytocin. That's wrong. That's the way I'm spelling it wrong. But like serotonin, it's hard to draw and write at the same time. Mm-hmm. But all these brain chemicals that especially dopamine, people like pictures. And so the kind of things that happen when you tell stories, and pictures are really stories. So pictures are really good, especially hand-drawn pictures are really good for telling stories. I'm acting dyslexic today with my writing. Because when you tell a story, what you're really doing is creating a picture in a person's mind. If I tell you a story about something, your brain is making pictures. When you do pictures, you're basically going straight to the source instead of making people think of the words and then what pictures the words mean in my mind. You're giving them pictures right away, and most people are, at least in some sense, visual thinkers, with 66% of your brain being given over to visual thinking. And it just really does make it easier to relate to people when you're telling a story. You can be like drawing something, or you're looking at a picture that you drew, and then you can really be relating to folks in a way that makes them. It's a very uniquely human way of communicating. It's where a photograph is finished and kind of cold. There's a warmth, and there's a narrative to the way you do it. It's your unique way of doing this. Someone else could have drawn this picture that you're seeing here right now, and it would still have the same elements, but it would look completely different because it was their own way of doing it. So these are just a few of the reasons why using hand-drawn images is powerful. And there's a lot. I have a lot more. I have a whole presentation I gave at the Adobe 99U conference last year, the Back End Innovation conference last year, and at Merck for their product manager day, that goes into a lot more detail about all of this stuff. But we want to be actually, I want to make sure we get our outcomes. So this is pretty much all the background that I wanted to give you about that.
Yeah.
So does anybody?
I love it though.
Yeah, do you want to take some questions, Haley, while this is, if there are any?
Yeah. So one question I think we had from the group was like what tool you're using, and also because this is not it's not Mural, right?
No.
Tell
us Mural. We're not in Mural yet, but we will be in a minute.
So tell me a little bit about this tool that you are using and why. Like, why is this a preferred one?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So this is I'm on my iPad Pro right now, and I'm using a tool called Procreate, If you were on last week's session, you will have heard Nevada talking about it. And it is just a really good tool for, gray matter here, a really good tool for, for sketching, but also, Procreate is $10. It's an app. And so I'm using the iPad Pro, the largest one, an Apple Pencil, and Procreate, which is $10. And there's a million things you can do on here. What I use it for is like literally the tip of the iceberg. Literally, no, not literally, metaphorically the tip of the iceberg. I hate when people use literally the wrong way, and I just did. What it allows you to do, if you see what I'm doing here, is I can have things on separate layers. So it is, so the color is on a different layer. See what I just turned it off and I turned it back on again. So it's really, it's cool to be able to create images in here. And also what's nice about digital images as opposed to pencil and paper, which I still love, is that if I don't like something in here, I can just undo it or erase it and just start over again. I haven't ruined a piece of paper. I can move things around. So there's a lot less preciousness about like, oh, did I get this just right? No. I'm not that way anyway, but some people are. So if you've got a tool like this, now there's other things like this. There's Adobe Sketch. There's because Procreate I think is only for Apple, for the iPad. So there's other things if you're on Android on a Surface Pro or something like that. There's others. Adobe Sketch is good. A lot of people.
Yeah, I've used like bamboo paper, or I've used Mural. Like I'll just straight up use Mural.
Yeah, and you can use Mural. You can use Mural, and it's what's nice about this. Whoops, I want a nicer color for that. What's nice about this is you can create. Well, you just saw it. I was able to just choose like a bunch of different brushes and stuff here. This pencil becomes all these different kinds of brushes or pens or airbrushes or even like these crazy like effects like that.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's really something. It's really something special. I really, really enjoy it. So that's
nice.
so that's the answer to that question.
Nice. All right. Well, I'd love to, so in the meantime, like while you're showing this story too, what I did was in the mural we're working in for the session today was invite the team, our panelists here, welcome you guys over into that mural. I made them little placemats in a way for them to work and sketch and actually start sketching. So,
right.
Let's first of all bring this. I'd love to see this, like, how do we bring this stuff over into Mural so that they can build on it and then give the crew some chances to practice.
Okay, so this is one of the things that I wanted to show you how to do. We haven't actually gotten to number 2 yet. We've done number 1. Yeah. So we've done number 1. And so that's done, and we're about to show you how to do number 3, how to do. But I want to make sure that we actually also cover number 2, which is going to be part of number 3. Okay, so right now, what I'm going to do in order to bring this into Mural is I'm going to save this canvas, whether we call this a canvas, as a photograph. So I'm going to go up here to this little tool up here where it says share. And then I'm going to share it as a JPEG, and then it's going to ask me where do I want to share it. All I'm going to do is say I'm going to save the image. That means it's saved to my photos in my iPad. So what I can do now is I can go to Mural Open. I can go here, and then okay. Oh, I see all you folks. Hi everybody. Oh, good. Everybody's
small party going on.
Mural, hooray! That's wonderful. So what I can do is I hit the little plus sign here. So I'm still like on my iPad, sharing my screen in Zoom for everybody who wants to see this. And you are recording, right, Haley?
Yes.
Oh, phew, great. Okay, so what I did was I'm going to close this now so I can start it again. I'm going to hit the plus sign, and then I'm going to go up to this little icon that looks like a picture, like a photograph or like an image up in the upper right. And then it says search. You're going to ignore the search. Okay, this is where I got confused. You ignore the search, click the little camera, and then you have these 3 choices. I don't want to talk about Post-it Plus today, but that's a really cool feature of Mural. We'll talk about that another time. I could take a photograph, which we're going to talk about in just a second, but I would rather choose from my photo library. And as you'll see in my recents, I have the most recent is this one. So I'm going to choose that. Come on, choose that, done. So why did it not import? Is it not in there?
Oh, it's there. I'd say
Okay.
it's on the second, over here on the second placemat, and just a
Oh, okay. All right. There it is.
There we go.
Right. Okay, so you can make it a little bit bigger. So there it is. Sometimes you get a little. It's a little bit hard to see where you're at in Mural. So I can make this a little bigger if I want to. I can move it over here if I want to, which I think I will.
Nice.
There we go.
Cool.
So that's how easy it is to import your drawings into Mural. And I love that everybody is sketching.
Yeah,
I love that everybody is sketching. So actually,
and I'm curious too. Like for those of you guys who are our panelists, welcome. If you can come off mute and just tell us like what you're using to sketch right now, like what devices, what app. Well, I mean, you're in Mural, but like, are you using the web app or the native app? Or so, Emily, what are you using?
I'm using our web app, and then I'm just using a simple mouse. So my interpretation of the state of California is creative, to say the least.
Nice. Love it.
Who is up in the upper left? Who's got the upper left placemat with the cat and the person?
Hey, yeah, hello, that's me. My name's Davey.
Hi, Davey. I'm interested in how you got those really nice thick lines. Where are you doing?
Well, my secret's the Apple Pencil. I don't know it by default. That's what happened. I'm using the app, and I'm using. That's probably why I'm using the second pen in the toolbar at the bottom. There's two pens. I'm using the second one.
Yes.
And it's a bit thicker, I think.
Oh, let me see. Yeah, it is a little bit. Oh boy, I'm trying to draw. Yeah, so hang on a second. I'm still not quite comfortable with the I'm trying to do something in the lower.
Yeah, I've noticed it doesn't have palm rejection, so you do get some artifacts from your hand resting on the screen.
Yeah, that's what the problem is. I'm a lefty, and so my hand always rests.
Yeah, my son's a lefty, so I know exactly what that's like.
Yeah, so I'm having a little bit of issues. So the people who everybody here, Andreas, you are. I've seen you before. You really draw well. So I'm looking at your things. It's a very, very easy to understand what you've done. Yeah.
I might ask everyone. I'm going to ask to follow me in the Mural and do a little gallery walk in a way so far. So Martina, I know you said that you're using your iPhone to sketch. This is really cool. Dominic, oh my gosh, experimenting with lines.
That's great. Skip it. That was me just trying to do this and I'm getting, my hand was getting in the way.
No worries.
So Andreas, what are you using to make this to make these pictures?
Hi, everyone. I'm just using the mouse.
Oh,
wow!
God, incredible.
Yeah. Just struggling, but that's the best I can do.
Yeah, but you know what? That is exactly the point I was trying to make. Is that now you're obviously an accomplished artist, but the fact that we're able to understand. I see a bomb about to explode. I see a graduation hat. I see a trophy. I see, like a banner container kind of thing that you could then write something inside. I imagine that's like an iPhone that's ringing. See, look at the little lines on top. Checklist, and like what looks to me like a lighthouse or some kind of a beacon or something like that. So these are exactly the kind of icons that I wanted everyone to kind of, to be thinking about. These are a little bit. All of these are a little bit literal, except for I would say like something like the bomb or the trophy, but especially the bomb, could be, obviously it means danger, but like depending on what words you put next to it could mean lots of different things. So that was one of the things I wanted to talk to people about. Like I'm going to go back on I'm going to go back.
Actually,
gallery.
I can share my screen too, because I'd love to.
Let me unshare then. I'll stop sharing.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. Thank you. Perfect. So, because I know it sounds like, and it looks like, of course, we have some people on our call in the session who are confident sketching and working visually. And we want to make sure that we're getting, I mean, a lot of this is also people are new in Mural to working visually. And so, Lisa, I'd love to know a little bit about and practice with this team. Like, what are some exercises or methods that people can use when they're learning how to work visually, or they're not comfortable, they think they can't draw?
Right, exactly. So, I mean, everybody pretty much knows how to draw basic shapes like circles and squares and things like that. I know that you're sharing your screen now, Haley, but if I could have it back for just a second.
Yeah, sure, no thing.
If I could have
no worries, we'll go.
I'll show you what I'm talking about.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, so if you feel comfortable at least sketching something like, like a circle. By the way,
and should we have the team, everybody follow along, like do the same thing in the mural?
By the way, one of the cool things about Procreate that actually isn't as cool as for this as I would like is like if I make a circle that isn't perfect, if I hold my pen down, it makes it a bit into a perfect circle. I don't want a perfect circle, so I'm going to go back to my imperfect circle. So I'm going to copy and paste this. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm going to copy and paste this a bunch of times. And just so you can see what I'm talking about. And
so for the crew who's working in the mural right now, should we let's do the same thing.
Just,
so I want to have.
Yeah, so I'm just making a bunch of different circles. So I'll just keep these at 4. So now anybody can pretty much draw a circle or something that looks like a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. So depending on what you do with it, it can be lots of different things. So if I'm going to do this as simply as I possibly can, but I mean, if I do like this, as I'm being very sloppy too, it still reads as a sun or a sun. Yeah. So and if I want to make another picture, I can do this. Again, doesn't have to be perfect, but right away you see, even without color, you see what it's supposed to be. I can do what Andreas did, and do this. Suddenly, it's a bomb. And let's be a little bit more benign, and do this, a little triangle, and we have a balloon. So we have 4 completely different objects based on a circle. But here's where the magic kind of comes in. If I decide I want to do something with this, this globe, this thing, depending on what I put next to it, the words I put next to it, I'm just going to change color so I can have something a little bit different. Depending on what I put next to it, this could be, I could say that I want to talk about this, or I could say I want to talk about this, or I could say I want to talk about this, or I say I want to talk about this.
So just looking at it and saying this is what looks like a globe, but it's simple, like squiggles and a circle. Now it can be interpreted as so many different things.
Right, depending on, I mean, I can brainstorm as many different ideas as I want coming up with this. But my point is that if I want to talk about a big topic, a big concept like peace or climate change or world travel or something, if I was going to do travel, I might add a little airplane, going around. Look how, or if I wanted to talk about peace, I might add, some people, on there, but it's still, I don't even have to do that. You can still do that. For the balloon, there's not that many different things, but I might say, childhood, I might say party, I might say, what do you mean? Going up, like what in our business is rising, floating, so it's kind of fun, it's kind of like a game of charades. Like, what else could this mean? The same thing with the sun. Obviously, you've got the sun. It could just be a literal sun, but it could be weather. It could be optimism. It could be morning. It could be heat. It could be summer. I could go on, right? Obviously, a bomb usually means danger. But it could also mean suspense. It could mean destruction. It could mean, disruption.
Yeah. And Lisa, do you mind showing like how would this look? And Andrew is asking this in the chat. How would you do this in Mural? Like, I may actually if you can go back into the Mural.
Yeah, I'm going to go back into the Mural. I'm going to stop sharing for a second. I'm going to stop sharing altogether. I'll go back into the Mural. Now, here's the problem. The challenge that I have is that when I try to draw in Mural, I don't have as much. I'm not as good as Andreas is at creating, and it's a happy face there too. I like that. I'm not as good as Andreas, as proficient as he is in creating these drawings in Mural. If I could do the kind of line art that he's doing in here, and it's not my drawing skill, it's my ability to use he's doing that with his mouse. So let me see what I can do if I try.
Yeah, I'm going to make you a placemat here, actually.
Yeah, I was trying to have a placemat down there at the bottom, and using the drawing tool, it often does not allow me to do what I would like to do.
Yeah, I know we've been chatting about with the product team a little bit about that together as well. Like
my problem is, Haley, that when I try to draw on my placemat, it thinks I'm trying to move the whole mural, even though I'm on the drawing tool. Let's see, like it's making me move I'm down here. Whoops, I didn't mean to put a Post-it note there. I'm down here in this lower right-hand corner. And I'm having now it's kicked me out of the app altogether. I'll be right back.
That's okay. Well, in the meantime, I'm gonna a couple of things. I'm gonna keep the Mural for those of you who are watching on the screen. You are seeing the team creating awesome circles. So we see over here, Phil is practicing what you were sharing, Lisa, about the balloon and the sun.
It's working for me now. It's working. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then Keith was asking, how do I join? He wants to use the Mural app on his phone. So how can he find the code? So I just want to make sure the team knows, because I just did this to join the Mural on my Surface hub. So if you're on a Mural, you can click this down button on the menu right here and send to touchscreen display. And on your device, there's a code. I can go back here and show you that there's a code to enter. So mine is 935485.
Oh, good. That's yeah.
And this is, you have to have the Mural app on your device. But once you have it, you're in. Oh, it changed on me, of course. Let me do it again.
Sorry, Haley, where did you find the code?
It's on your Mural. So do you have the Mural app downloaded on your phone?
Yes.
Okay, so it should be when you first open the app itself. There's a menu button that says, I think it says either send to Mural, or it says, but I'm on a Surface hub. This says there's a send to touchscreen display button in a Mural, in the Mural app itself.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, Beth, the code is individual to each person.
Yeah, so I'm seeing.
Are you seeing the code?
Hang on, I think I'm figuring it out for me. The reason I was asking too, I don't know if other people, this is why I had my hand raised, is I have a hard time drawing on my mouse pad on my MacBook Air. So I was wondering if it might be easier for me on my phone. So I was going to just move over to my phone and start doing my drawing there and see what happens.
It might be. Yeah. It might be because the touch screen is more sensitive. I'm looking at Phil's thing and came up with other ideas that that could come up that could be for these same idea.
Let me follow Phil.
Clowns. I'd like to know what the story is behind his sailboat with the shark and the person under the water.
Yeah. So Lisa, Phil here. As you can see, I'm not the most artistic person, or at least I wouldn't consider myself.
Everybody does this. Everybody gives a preface. I can understand that there's a story going on here, and that's all I care about. I'm not really interested in your.
Great. So my story is I live in Utah. I live in the mountains, and I'm really missing the ocean and the beach. And so I thought of what could I draw? I was going to try to draw someone surfing, and I defaulted to a sailboat instead. And then as it went, I was going to try to draw a shark, might look more like a whale. And then I was going to try to draw, like the classic image of a person in the old school, like helmet and
that's like
suit.
A diving bell guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the goal. And then he turned out to look more like an alien.
I first of all, I got right away that it was a shark because you put the teeth and the dorsal fin. But I just thought, okay, well, it made me think of Jaws, like somebody falling off the boat, and now there's a great white shark about to eat them. But I mean, like but this is so cool because it allows you to kind of tell a story, and this is, look, when people do sketches, it's going to be messy. It's not as neat and orderly as some of the murals that we've all seen, but it does open up
the beauty of it.
Yeah, there's a lot more. Exactly. There's a lot more room for debate, discussion, storytelling, and everything like that when people draw their own pictures. So down here, I'm looking at Martina, and I see, I love this drawing that she did of these two stick figures with a kind of rainbow over them. And right away, I feel like that means like friendship or love or understanding or what is that? What is that meant to be, Martina?
Yeah, just connecting, like working together. In unison.
I have to tell you, and I'm not just saying this. When I see things like that, my hair stands up on my arms because it's such I get it. This is why I wanted to talk to you guys about this today. When I see a picture like that, it's not Michelangelo, but I understand what she's saying. And I think you wouldn't have to be whoever mentioned about culture at the beginning of this presentation. Show me one culture in the world where that image would not mean people getting along, communicating, peace, friendship, understanding, connection, all those things. So it's depending on what words you put with it, it could be more about like let's move past our differences, or people are all the same, and let's combat racism, or whatever you happen to be, like whatever the hot topic is of whatever it is you're talking about. But just the picture on its own, I get the general idea of where the person is going, and that's all you need to be able to do. If you can draw beautifully well, that's great. Sometimes it gets in the way because it begins to become a little bit like the photographs and the icons, the perfection, the finished feeling that I worry about sometimes with photographs. It's kind of end of discussion. This is what this means, and it's too specific. Oh, look at this person thinking. Like, Dominic, this is incredible.
Yeah. It's really
cool. Without the light bulb, like that is a really good, like talk about that's not a stick figure. I see another person who's like freaking out or upset or worried. But I love that's really, the gesture is really amazing. And then up there, those two people like fighting or boxing, or like it's like on the upper right of his thing.
Yeah, I'm curious, and I actually just asked everyone to follow me because I'd love if we could, if you don't mind, Dominic, for those of us in the call, when you see this image, what words would you use? Like what words come to mind? And I'm curious to, like, you can just share aloud.
Oh, to me, obviously it's like conflict. I'm not sure what the things are in between.
It makes me think of football pads.
I was trying to make it a wall.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah. Martina said tension. Beth said opposition. Jeremy said pushing. Samuel said struggle. Beth said a brick wall.
Yeah. So yeah, if it is a brick wall, then excuse me, I'm gonna draw on top of your drawing. If it is a brick wall, sometimes color helps.
Yeah.
If it is a brick wall, then obviously these two people are at cross purposes, or there's something in between them there's some kind of barrier to their mutual understanding.
Andrew said a drunk night out. I love that. Maybe we have like a beer can or something over here. I'm just gonna, if you don't mind, add to the sketch. Over here on my hub.
I am also, by the way, just using my Apple mouse and.
Yeah, you're doing a great job. I have a feeling you may have seen somebody from Explain give a presentation, because I have, like, if you look at mine down at the bottom where it says World Peace, there's a couple of different ways to draw people that are not stick figures. Stick figures can work, but the way that Dominic did his, there's a way of doing it.
Lisa, you have yours.
Yeah, I do have mine.
The star figures,
the way that Dominic did it is the kind that they teach at Explain, where you have a square, that's the body, and then you do everything else with the rest of the with the limbs. But the two ways that I like to show people to do things that are not stick figures is one that I've shown down here at the bottom. It's called Starman, where you basically, I didn't want to actually do that right away, but everyone knows how to draw a star. But instead of the top point, you put a circle, and that's the head. And that person isn't really doing much, but you can do things with the points of the star that show a person's attitude. That's what there's someone who's kind of depressed. So that's one way. And then another way is something we call keyhole Ken. So you do like an old timey keyhole. That's they don't even have them anymore, but you close it off with the head at the top. Then you can do anything you want with the arms and the feet and the nose and then you can make them into characters.
That's so cute.
Yeah. So I mean it's easy to do these kinds, but then there's really three ways. There's the Starman, there's this kind of box person, like where the body is a box, and then there's the keyhole person that you can then, do all kinds of different things with. And they're all, to me, as easy as a stick figure, but they give you more, it makes the people feel more human. And so, like, even though I didn't really do anything with the faces of the people holding up the world, I could put smiley faces and stuff on them if I wanted to, make them all like, happy and everything like that. But you don't even really need to, because their bodies say it for you.
Right.
So here's
Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
No, you go.
I was gonna say, what kind of activities it seems like the circle activity is a really good way, and I'm just looking at like a Venn diagram, for example, here, and these people are awesome too. But what activity or like what exercise would you recommend to get people to get comfortable with sketching people in like these different? You've given us a couple different methods, but how do you get people warmed up to sketching people?
Well, one of the things that I mean, I show them those three things as far as the bodies and things like that. I also love to show them. I don't know if you can make me another placemat or something.
Oh yeah, what I'll do is expand your placemat, and there we go. Unlock. And this is basically just a rectangle, for those of you who are wondering how I made the placemats. It's a rectangle that I've expanded.
Oh, okay, great.
And then I just lock it down. And I can do the same for the rest of our group here too, where I can space them out as well. But what I'll ask is, I know a couple of us need some more space, but Lisa, if you can show us an activity to practice with, and I'll have the rest of the group follow.
This does not have to do with, is it okay if I do the thing with the heads that we did?
Yeah.
All right, because this is really easy, you guys, and this is so much fun. I mean, anybody who's actually drawn cartoons, I know a couple of the people who are in this mural have already this would not be new to them, but to people, when I teach them, especially like scientists and stuff, they're kind of blown away. So I'm going to do a series of like ovals here. I'm going to make like 10 ovals, all the same, pretty much the same. They don't have to be exactly the same. And this is where I show people when they say they can't draw, they can't do it, they can't express ideas with pictures. Here's where I show them how they really are wrong. First of all, we've already seen, we're kind of gone a little backwards. I usually do this first and then do things like mountains and blocks and beach balls and whatever it is. But what I'm going to do now is just I want, you can follow along with me if you want to, but I'm just putting 2 dots for eyes around 2/3 of the way down each of these ovals. Pretty much the same. I'm not worried too much that they're exactly identical, but they're meant to be pretty much the same. The idea is these are the same. Okay. I'm even going to put like a little U-shaped nose about halfway down the face under the eyes, just to show how little you have to do in order to create, in order to tell a story with just a couple of lines. So right now, each of these heads is an oval, 2 dots and a line for a nose, and that's it. So basically we put five marks on this canvas. So if I do this and make it like a happy face, then everybody knows how to do that. So now that's just a happy face. Now obviously there's no hair, there's no other kinds of, this is not a character. It's just an idea of here's happiness or pleasure. But if I take pretty much the same, we got similar expressions here, but then I take 2 more lines and I go like that. Suddenly that's a different kind of an emotion, especially if I add like a little teardrop here. Now that person suddenly, with just a couple of extra lines, that person is moved. Oh, you gave them a gift. Oh, you shouldn't have. Oh, I'm watching something that's making me cry happy tears. Now you have the same smile. So now these 2 are similar. But I'm going to do that. But you make the eyebrows. Whoops. Now you make the eyebrows go the other way. Oh, now I've got the thicker line. So now this person is a little bit kind of sneaky and evil. And so, so that's a kind of a different kind of a character, where also if you the same thing as if you do this, I've got the 3rd pen over. I like this line much better. I've got this person who's just mildly unhappy. He's displeased. I've got the same two displeased people, but if I go like this person is really kind of sad and depressed, especially if I put some like.
If you don't mind, I'm joining you on the over here.
That's great. Oh yeah, what you did down there is kind of like a Charlie Brown. Yeah. So you're adding. Yeah. So like different kinds of mouths and eyebrows is where you can really do completely different. So I have a same sad mouth down here, but now I'm gonna do it like that. Now suddenly that person is angry. This person is angry, but they're really angry, especially if I do this. So you can just do, you can experiment and see like what kinds of different expressions can you make? Yeah. If you put little sweat marks coming out of this, it's like that person's really super worried, right? So we're working on this together. It's kind of fun.
This is awesome.
So the thing that I think is so cool about this is that first of all, it proves to people that yes, with just a few lines, yes, you can convey an emotion, a true emotion. And it's something that, this is why little kids like cartoons. I don't know what it is. I don't know how, if you look at a painting by Michelangelo, you'll see similar expressions to these. They're more finished and stuff, but you will see, actually the expressions that you'll see on Rembrandt's and Michelangelo's and Da Vinci's are similar to these. That's why babies can look at a face. That's the first thing they do is they read people's faces and they can understand expressions before they understand any other kind of language. That's why kids love cartoons. And, if you go look at Charlie Brown or anything like that, you will see a gamut of emotions very, very simply drawn. Calvin and Hobbes, some other very simply drawn cartoons. And it just shows you that you can, when people do this, they feel a little bit more empowered. And then when I show them the Starman and Keyhole can, and now I will sometimes share the box person also that explains box person. They realize, hey, I really can tell a story about people. And the most engaging stories really are about people. But then you've also got these icons that are more like concepts. And then you've got, I see that Andreas did a picture that's a little bit like what Nevada did last week of a metaphor of a concept, like, okay, here's a road going to a desired outcome. He's right above me if you wanted to navigate.
Sorry, yeah.
He's right above, yeah, see that?
That's awesome. And your circles are not, you didn't draw the circles, right, Andreas? I think I saw you. How did you make the circles?
No, I didn't. I used the tool, the circle tool.
Oh, there's a circle.
Okay, so
oh, yeah. You can bring circles right over there. Okay, well, that was a little bit of a shortcut, but yeah, that worked. But see, it still works. You know, the more you experiment and the more you practice, the easier it is to convey emotions. But to me, the three big language things in drawing for communication are emotion, meaning facial expressions and body language, and icons like the balloons and the world and the clocks and the other kinds of things that you do with simple shapes. And then also things like metaphors, like what Andreas did with the mountains, like what I've told you about a bunch of times. This is one of my favorites, where that I love for this is this one, where if you're looking down at my little canvas at the bottom, anybody can draw a blob with a wave going like most of the way up, and everyone understands that only a little bit of the iceberg shows at the top. But to me, that's always a great metaphor for what you see and what you don't see. So sometimes it's danger lurking beneath the surface. That's the most commonly used metaphor for this, but I like to use it for anything that is visible and invisible. So maybe your team is getting along great, better than anybody else's team in your company. Well, why is that? And if you were using Mural, you can now put Post-it notes underneath the surface of the water that say, because we have a happy hour every week. Because we have a mission statement that we all signed on to. Because we have we've committed to diversity and we all appreciate each other. I mean, whatever everybody could contribute to, like what makes, so now you're adding sticky notes. Sorry. Now it doesn't want to let me add any sticky notes. So now you're adding sticky notes that say, I'm not very proficient at moving things around in Mural, unfortunately. But if I wanted to, I could add a bunch of sticky notes at the bottom underneath the waves that would say, that would allow everybody to contribute to what is one of the reasons why what's going on up here is happening. So
So it's like another kind of like we're talking about the Nevada, like another really powerful visual facilitation technique for a conversation with a team.
Yeah, I mean, up here could be something like, whoops, I want to go back to black. Up here could be something like, our dollars are flying away. We're losing all this money because everything is going, and it's like, well, why is that? Well, you could be drawing a picture of why that is, or you could be writing a Post-it note about all the reasons why. We've got maybe one of the reasons why I'm gonna write another little drawing here. Maybe it's because we have a leak in our budget. We're leaking money. So there's like a little money bag with stuff coming up, or you could just put Post-it notes where everybody could. But what's great about the iceberg, or any of the metaphors like the ones Nevada was talking about last week, is that it's a lot of white space. So imagine this much bigger, where everybody has a chance to contribute. A lot of white space, and again, like I said at the very beginning of this presentation, it's the realm of concepts, it's the realm of ideas. You could show a photograph of an iceberg and have a similar effect, but I don't think you would get as many out of the box.
You don't have such meaning, and even for the crew here who's sketching all these different things. I realize we have about 5 minutes, so I want to take some time. Well, a couple of things is to in a moment go around and kind of do a little virtual gallery walk around to these different placemats?
Before you do that though, Haley, I want to make sure that we remind people. I really wanted to get to this.
Yeah.
You already saw how I imported my Procreate image out of photographs into the mural. So I was able to just sort of, you could also drag and drop it from your desktop if you're doing it on your desktop. Haley showed me that yesterday. It's really easy. Or if you're using your phone or your iPad, you can just take a picture, like I showed you, like we did yesterday. I'll do it again. I'm going to take a picture right now with my phone, and hang on a second.
Do any of our group too? Any of our other panelists have sketches, like paper and pen sketches that you would want to try and upload on the mural right now?
I'm going to upload one just showing you how to do it. Like I'm doing this on my phone. I have a picture. I have a little drawing I drew on a Post-it yesterday. And so I'm going to take a picture right now of this thing. Well, all you do is you hit the plus sign, just like I did before. You hit the little image sign, and then you hit the little camera, and then you choose take photo instead of the other things. I'm holding this up with my finger, so the photo is going to have my finger in it. It doesn't really allow me to edit the photo, but it just says, let me use the photo. So I'm going to use the photo. And I just put it in there. I didn't mean to put it over somebody else's thing. I'm going to move it up here. But it shows you how you can just take a picture.
There it is.
Phone. There it is. Take a picture. Yeah, this is me being confused.
And you use the iPhone app to do
I use
that.
the iPhone
mural
app. Yeah, so I'm in the same mural on my desktop, on my iPad, and on my phone. But so the reason I wanted to mention that to everyone is that if you're working, I'm really looking for ways for participants to be able to draw. It's fantastic that you've been able to use the draw tool inside of Mural. Everyone's done way better than I have been able to do so far. I'm gonna have to practice, I suppose. But it's also cool if you have participants that you want to be able to import their own like hand-drawn images. Maybe you're doing something asynchronous, or people are more comfortable sort of working on their own instead of having something that they're drawing in front of everyone. They can take a picture and get it right into the mural really quickly, like I just did. So
awesome. No, I love it. I appreciate you like showing the many different ways you can get people collaborating and participating in the mural. So this is really fun. And I appreciate you, Lisa, for kind of breaking it down like lots of different ways that we can get sketching and think about approaching working visually with sketches in Mural. It's really refreshing to have a different type of Backstage Pass where we're working in an analog way with pen and paper, but visual. So I want to thank you, first of all, before we do our gallery walk. I also want to ask our audience for, we always want to make these sessions better for you. So if you could give us a rating in the chat on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the session is not helpful for you or valuable, 10 being it was amazing, like super valuable and helpful for you, and tell us why. That's really helpful for us. And if you want to if you have suggestions for other topics, please let us know in the chat. And we're always updating our topics for you guys about a month in advance. So it's available to you as well. So with that, before we sign out, I'm going to do a quick gallery walk over here in our mural, just admiring all of your wonderful work. And while I'm going through, think through the different things that you're seeing and what words come to mind when you see things like this tree in the hills and mountains, this Christmas tree, I'm thinking, with some gifts. Yeah, this is amazing. So awesome job. Thank you to our panelists, those of you guys who joined us today and jumped in to sketch with us and experiment with us. We really appreciate it. But with that, I will close out for the day. I hope you guys have a lovely weekend, and we'll see you back here, same time, same place, new topic. Thanks, Lisa, again. Really appreciate it.
Thanks. I had such fun. Went fast.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you guys for participating.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.
Thanks. Bye.